Mark Twain called it the Great Astonisher. Rudyard Kipling said we hadn't grown up just because we thought the Melbourne Cup the most important thing in the world. But why wouldn't we? Would scallywags wear this at the Kentucky Derby? And could you see these fellas rocking up to Ascot? You couldn't transplant the Cup in Europe or America. It's too quirky, too Australian. It isn't a classic, it's a handicap.
Get the slip in front, Ethereal's coming hard, the Caulfield Cup winners grab the lead, and Ethereal does the double!
It isn't for the gentry, it's for people. This is the day Melbourne comes out of the closet. The more daring dress like this. The more conservative, like this. And this race coming up. Well, it's the toughest flat race in the world. 3,200 metres. With the pace on all the way. They come from all over the world now, trying to win this race. Only one international runner has done it. Vintage Trot.
The Irish horse will win the Melbourne Cup.
More often, this man has done it, and done it his way. Bart's won one cup in 3 for more than 30 years. He's won with little mares.
Light Fingers throwing out a desperate challenge.
And big geldings.
Slightly wins it easily.
With cheap horses.
Red-handed, too good. He's won the cup on next to Red.
With blue bloods. With bred to rule.
It's Kingston Rule, they give Barney's face. Kingston Rule from the Phantom.
He's the Bradman of the turf. This is his place and his day. And it's their day. And it's our day too. A horse race and a Mardi Gras all rolled into one. So no, Mr. Kipling. No, we still haven't grown up. And never will. Pity. If only you could be here. I reckon you'd enjoy the tumult and the shouting.
Yes, the Great Astonisher, the Tui's new Melbourne Cup, the 142nd running of Australia's great race. The expectation, the live theatre, the culmination and reality of a million dreams. Today, the first Tuesday in November, a noble horse will carry its cheering connections into folklore. Welcome to Royal Flemington, where we await an international audience of around 700 million. As 170 countries and territories marvel at the race that stops this nation. Will a European invader steal the cup, or can the legendary trainers Bart Cummings and George Hanlon do it again? And imagine the scenes should champion jockey Damien Oliver salute. The weather today, it's close to perfect, I think. 20 degrees we're going for. We haven't had that shower yet. It is cloudy, but you've got the feeling the sun is going to break through. Currently, it is 15. And the track is good. The rail is in the same position it was on Saturday, 2 metres out. And the penetrometer is 3.8. Well, the Friedman family have won 3 Melbourne Cups, 89, 92, 95. It's a good day, Richard, isn't it?
It's a fabulous day, Bruce. It's the greatest days racing in Australian turf. And I tell you what, I got here early this morning. I couldn't wait to get here. I got here at 4:30 so I could walk the track and talk to some of the trainers. And I tell you what, they're as keyed up as everybody else. The track is very, very firm. Some of those international horses are going to feel like a cat on hot tins when the gates open.
Well, it's all about the Cup today, isn't it? It's a big program, but the Tui's new Melbourne Cup just jumps at you. We start with the 2-year-olds in the Today-Tonight sprint. Then we follow up with the Lavazza Long Black, the Liberty Financial Plate for the mares, the Cannon Sprint also for the mares, the Switch 1000 for the 3-year-olds, the listed Great Western for the fillies, the Tui's new Melbourne Cup, then the Group 4 listed Hong Kong Jockey Club Plate, the Sea Australia Sprint, and the final event, the Hahn Premium. Now, the scratchings, we've got quite a few today, including one in the Tui's New Melbourne Cup. Race 1, the 2-year-old, 1, 4 and 16. In race 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 17 and 18. So Big Pat and Rum, who both ran in the Cup last year, are out of the second race. We go to race 3, 5, 17 and 19. In the fourth, 9, 11 and 19. Race 5, Rohatyn and Kuzi, who ran here on Saturday, are out, 1 and 6. 3, 10 and 16 out of the Great Western. Maguire scratched for the third time this spring out of the Tui's New Melbourne Cup. Number 8 is out. In race 8, plenty of scratchings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 and 17. The second last, 2, 4, they would have both been in the market, and 19. And in the final event today, 5, 6, 7 and 9. Damien Oliver won a Melbourne Cup for the Freedman family on Doremus in 1995. Today, as he did on Saturday, he walks the track. Tomorrow, he'll be in Perth, where his brother Jason will be buried. His great friend and mentor in many ways, Lee Freedman, and his girlfriend Trish. What an inspiration story it will be if Damien is successful here today. Let's see what they're paying and see what Media Puzzle is as we have a look at the opening totes for the Tui's New Melbourne Cup.
1 Vinnie Rowe, 8.30. 2 Jardines Lookout, 22.30. 3 Dahlia Paw, 32. 4 Sandmason, 47.30. 5 Helene Vitality, 33.20. 6 Hatha Anna, 58.80. 7 Freemason, 37.30. 8 is Scratched. 9 Fusion, 10.60. 10 Rain Gauge, 11.10. 11 Beekeeper, 10.10. 12 County Tyrone, 81.30. 13 Hale, 49. 14 Media Puzzle, 6.20. 15 Mr Prudent, 41.70. 16 Pentastic, 32.20. 17 Prize Gem, 58.50. 18 Victory Smile, 73.10. 19 Cyclades, 30.50. 20 Distinctly Secret, 7.40. 21 Grey Song, 55.60. 22 Thong Classic, 30.10. 23 Miss Millis, 17.80. And 24 Requiem, 23.80.
Media Puzzle at 6.20 and Distinctly Secret at $7.40. The runners at the barrier for the opening event. There are 3 scratchings here. The 2-year-olds, some differences there. Crescent, Hey Pronto and West Highland. What a day it was on this very day last year for a New Zealand woman who right now is with Greg Radley.
Sheila Laxon this time last year, the toast of Flemington with Ethereal. Nice to be back.
Fantastic to be back and to be involved with all the build-up to the carnival. It's a great place to be this time of year.
Now, where is Ethereal?
Well, I think she's still at Coolmore Stud. She got involved to Giants Causeway first pop, so I'd imagine she'd stay there till the 40-day positive and then go back to New Zealand.
You were hoping to have Forlorna here today, but she'll go around at Kyneton tomorrow?
Kyneton Cup, yeah. We've downgraded our sights a little bit, but, you know, and that makes me realise how lucky we were last time with Ethereal. Nothing went wrong on the way through, and, you know, all those sort of things are fraught with danger, so I don't really mind going to the Kyneton Cup tomorrow.
Well, it was easy to tip the winner last year. What about this year?
Well, I must admit, I saw Media Puzzle win the Geelong Cup, and that he was pretty outstanding in that win. Some of the other European horses, you haven't seen them like Vinnie Rowe, so you don't know how they've settled. So I'd stay with Media Puzzle because you've seen that he's coped with the trip all right, and he did run very well in the Geelong Cup.
All right, have a great day today.
You too.
Sheila Laxon.
Yes, to 2 of the Cup jockeys, Kerry McAvoy and Glenn Boss.
See Australia!
3,200 metres and with the pace on all the way. This is the first Tuesday in November, the day we run the Tui's New Melbourne Cup. The race that reflects the way we are. How we send out wee George Hanlon, a quality convict stock, to confront the all-powerful blue bloods from the other side of the world. How through worrying times we can still turn around and laugh at ourselves. The world can watch and even salute, but this great race, this institution, will always belong to Australia and its weird and wonderful people. The Tui's New Melbourne Cup today on 7.
And one of the talking points leading up to today's Cup has been the track, just how hard it might be. I'll be interested to see what the jockeys are saying. Let's join Peter Donegan.
Bruce, I was out here very early this morning and walked around the entire 3,200 metres that they're going to cover here at Flemington today. I can tell you the track's in perfect order. The penetrometer was 4.2.
Their way to the post for the Sweps 1000. So it's a media puzzle who's the $6.10 favourite for the Tui's new Melbourne Cup.
How nervous would the strapper be? It's like bringing out a masterpiece painting. You just don't want anyone to touch it or anything to go wrong with it. Media puzzle looks fine.
It's a moment, isn't it? A moment in time for horse lovers and race goers and sports fans when the horses come from the birdcage and slowly make their way through the crowd, up the race, into the mounting yard.
It's a real battleground, the mounting yard too, and that race can be too. A lot of people hanging over the fence cheering them on. Some of the horses get very stirred up. Some will need two strappers to keep them under control. Some of them will be old professionals. They'll walk around like the Baker's horse. Beekeeper has two strappers. Obviously, Beekeeper very inexperienced. He needs two strappers to just keep him quiet, give him confidence, not let the occasion get to him.
Vinnie Rowe, we've been waiting to see him, haven't we? He's won 7 out of his last 8 consecutive Irish St Ledgers, but no horse has carried this weight for 33 years to have won.
Looks beautiful. Look at the gleam on his coat, a little bit of a crimp in his tail there. He's walking along. He's been to many big race meetings, but this horse is a real professional. 7 of his last 8 starts have been wins. The only loss, a second in the Ascot Gold Cup, and that was over 4,000 metres. Perhaps a little bit too far for him. He'll be well suited here today. Dermot Well's been pouring cold water on him, saying that he'd liked him to have had a little bit more weight on him, but just looking at him in the yard, he looks spot on.
6 of those 7 wins have been at 2,800 metres, so he's a fabulous stayer. Dahlia Poor has been a wonderful racehorse. He's a 7-year-old, placed in 2 derbies. He won the Coronation Cup at Epsom in 2000 when he beat Fantastic Light, who went on to be the top horse in the world. He's widely travelled.
He is widely travelled. A little bit of a grey fleck in his tail there. He's wearing a cross nose band, which is a device to keep control of him. Obviously, he likes to get on the bit. Gleaming coat on him. Very difficult to keep these horses with a good coat coming from the opposite hemisphere, but he looks fantastic.
He's from Newmarket in England. Sir Michael Stout, the trainer. Number 4, Sand Mason, English horse now trained in Australia. He won the Hardwick Stakes last year, the race that Jern won before he won the 1994 Melbourne Cup.
Hadn't shown much in Australia until his last run when he ran 4th in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup. He got into the field. I expect him to take the running up here and be in the forward group.
5 Helene Vitality from Hong Kong, formerly of New Zealand, the trainer David Hayes.
Well, David Hayes has brought him here. He's a former New Zealand Derby winner, this horse. Hasn't gone the 3,200 metres with success, but does run 2,400 metres. He's just starting to run into a bit of form. His last start at Flemington was a good 4th in the Turnbull Stakes.
First of the Godolphins, Hatharana. He won at the Melbourne Cup Carnival last year. He was 4th in the Ascot Gold Cup this year.
He hasn't won since he was here last year. I think he's been brought as a travel companion, and I think he might take up the running. He might lead the field.
Has his bodyguard with him there, Hatharana. 7 Freemason, his 3rd Melbourne Cup start today.
He's been round in a lot of staying races, yet to succeed at this level, Freemason, but he's an honest galloper, and he will give you a good show if you've drawn him in this week.
We haven't forgotten Jardines. Look out, we just haven't seen him yet, number 2 in the mounting yard as yet. 8 is scratched. 9 Pugin. Frankie Dettori, 2nd behind Vinnie Rowe. He's had 3 clashes with Vinnie Rowe. He's beaten him once.
There he is, high stepping with the string halt condition. Don't worry about it. It's natural for him. It won't worry him when he starts galloping. He can gallop. The 2nd to Vinnie Rowe was good, but he meets Vinnie Rowe on much better weight conditions in the handicap of the Melbourne Cup. He's a real live chance.
He is Australia's best hope, Rain Gauge. 6th last year, George Hanlon going for a 4th Melbourne Cup, the trainer.
A beautiful black thoroughbred just walking around the yard there, wearing the nose roll to keep his head down. This horse is a real chance. He ran 6th in the race last year. He won the Moonee Valley Gold Cup last year. He was 2nd in it this year.
Here's Beekeeper, 2 handlers to get him into the mounting yard. A baby, just 8 starts so far. Godolphin, Kieran McAvoy, the jockey.
Inexperience told on him last start when he got back in the Caulfield Cup, got back in the traffic, but when he found his way clear with about 400 metres to run, he really rattled home. I expect him to be in clear ground today, and he'll show his best.
12 County Tyrone from Newcastle in New South Wales. Jim Cassidy's won a couple of races today. He's won a couple of cups. He's a Derby winner.
Queensland Derby winner. Hasn't been in great form since he's been down here. Looks like he's working up to a win, but he'll be an outsider.
13 Hale has won a New Zealand Derby. His trainer Bruce Marsh won the race on Silver Night as a jockey in 1971.
Third in the Celt Stakes was his last decent performance in New Zealand. Since coming here, he hasn't really performed that well.
The favourite, Media Puzzle, won the Geelong Cup in record time. Damien Oliver rides for Dermot World.
How could you be anything but impressed with his win in the Geelong Cup in record time? The hard ground will suit him. Damien Oliver riding with his brother Jason up there in spirit, and I'm tipping him. I think he's the winner.
Mr. Prudent, no 8-year-old has won since 1938. Only 2 have ever won it. That's what he's trying to do today.
He's like a tough old prize fighter, Mr. Prudent. When the whips are cracking in the 2-miler, he knows what it's all about.
Jardine's Lookout is arriving now. They held him back in the birdcage. Here he comes, Jardine's Lookout. He won the Goodwood Cup this year. He's an out-and-out stayer from England.
Yes, 4th in the Doncaster Cup at his last start. He's come out here with his pony, mate. He's just left him. I tell you what, he looks well, and Alan Jarvis, a very, very astute trainer, has got him in great shape.
Another Australian hope, Pentastic number 16. Glenn Boss has got the ride for David Hall.
The trainer was a bit concerned the ground was going to be very hard for Pentastic, but he's been running well. He's running the McKinnon Stakes on Saturday, was good. He finished 7th. Don't be surprised if he's running on at the end.
No horses won the Brisbane Cup and the Melbourne Cup in the 1 year since McDougall in 59. Can Prize Gem do it this year?
He did it up there in Brisbane, then he went back to New Zealand, won the Celt Stakes at Group 1. He's come back here. Terrible run last start, very uncharacteristic. Can he atone? I think he can.
18 Victory Smile won the Metropolitan 2 starts ago at Randwick.
Yes, he also ran a pretty poor race last start, but the tempo was against him. Before that, he'd won the Metropolitan. He's in there with a lightweight chance.
19 Cyclades. Scott Seamer won it last year. He's already a winner at 2 miles in the Wellington Cup.
Perhaps the form 2-mile horse of the year. He's come out here and run 7th in the Saab on Saturday behind Requiem. Wasn't a bad run. He'll be a lightweight chance.
Down Under's best chance. The New Zealander Distinctly Secret. Mark Walker the trainer. Stephen King the jockey.
Perfect form. Perfectly relaxed. He's walking around there, taking it all in. I think this horse has got the best form of all the Down Under runners, and he's going to be right there. His form says he will be. All the pundits will agree.
21 Grey Song. Chris Muntz won the race 4 years ago on Jezebel. 8th in the Caulfield Cup at its last start.
Yeah, former St Ledger winner. Will go the trip, but would like to have seen a soft track. He didn't get it today. I think that rules him out.
Battling trainer Pat Carey has got Thong Classic into the Cup. He won the Moonee Valley Cup at his last start.
A true story of the Melbourne Cup. A battling trainer sneaks into the field with a lightweight chance. Can he perform the dream? 23,
17-year-old Craig Newitt. Bart Cummings has won 11 of the last 37 Melbourne Cups. Miss Melisse.
Speaking of dreams, a dream come true for Craig Newitt, a 17-year-old Tasmanian jockey on the Bart Cummings horse. Well, she's got no form. She's coming off a win in Geelong in restricted grade. It's a huge step up, but she's got the trainer on her side.
Requiem, part owned by Robert Sangster. David Hayes, trained by Tony McAvoy. Craig Williams flew in from Hong Kong on Sunday to ride him.
Well, the horse could have been flying to Hong Kong if he hadn't started to perform, but he really has performed. He won the Saab on Saturday. That's good form.
Horses about to leave the mounting yard as they make their way to the post for the 2002 Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. Anticipation sky high here at Flemington as the horses have left the yard and they make their way to the 3,200-metre start in the long straight. Vinnie Rowe is the new favourite with bookmakers in the betting ring. This has been a huge plunge. He's displaced his stablemate Media Puzzle in terms of favouritism, and Distinctly Secret retains his position, a very firm third favourite. But there he is, Vinnie Rowe. So much money has come for him in the last hour and a half.
With all the sentiment around his stablemate Media Puzzle, this has to be a stable-inspired plunge. This has to be male coming back from the stable. They obviously think Vinnie Rowe is right up to his best, and if he is, 59 kilos won't matter to him.
Rain Lover, the last one to carry that sort of weight. And it's just such an impulse. There's Pugin with that funny gait in the background, and Frankie Dettori.
You can see the jockey silk starting to flap there. The headwind in the straight is really starting to play its part. Horses that race into that headwind without cover, they'll burn some energy.
Hale was in the foreground. There's Thong Classic Didn't run on the Saturday to get in. There's Media Puzzle for Damien Oliver. Damien, a Melbourne Cup winner on Doremus in 1995. He's behind Brett Preble there on Thong Classic. And Damien will be in Perth tomorrow. His brother Jason died in a tragic race fall last week in a barrier trial in Western Australia and will be buried tomorrow.
The pressure that's on that young man. He's such a great rider. He's one of the few jockeys that could handle that sort of stress and yet produce a fabulous ride in a Melbourne Cup, and I know he will.
And a 17-year-old, Craig Newitt there with Miss Melise from Bart Cummings stable.
Imagine how his heart's pounding, Craig Newitt. He's up there on a Bart Cummings train runner in a Melbourne Cup the first year he arrived in Melbourne from Tasmania.
So the prices are going through here. Sam Mason still over 50 to 1. 15, Mr. Prudent, George Hanlon.
Geez,
Corey
a tough
Brown.
old campaigner, this horse. He's been round in plenty of 2-milers.
This is his 7th 2-mile start. Daliapur, placed in both an Irish and English derbies as a 3-year-old. Won a major race in Hong Kong at Group 1. Won a Group 1 race at Epsom, the Coronation Cup. Will be trained by Tony McAvoy after this race. Vinnie Rowe. Can he do a vintage crop? Can he take it back to Ireland?
Paddy Smullen, the jockey, he has ridden in Australia. He came out here as an apprentice and spent some time in Sydney.
The last horse to carry #1 and win a Melbourne Cup was Rising Fast in 1954. It's been nearly 50 years since a horse has carried that saddlecloth to success.
The Hoodoo saddlecloth and the Hoodoo Gate, Barrier 7. Only one winner in the history of the Cup since Barrier Stalls.
So Damien Oliver off Media Puzzle for the moment, as the other runners mule behind the start. There's Media Puzzle's price on the tote, $5.90. Good value in New South Wales, and Unitab, Queensland, South Australia at $6.50.
Jockeys down behind the gates getting last-minute checks on the gear. The barrier attendants will make sure that everything's in the right place. There's Sam Mason in the barrier blanket. This blanket is something they use to put him in the gates so that the gates don't touch his side and he doesn't get upset. There's another runner in it as well. I think that might be distinctly secret.
It is. Stephen King, the jockey. Rain Gauge. Greg Childs was quick to get on this horse, but he thought Northerly wasn't going to run. We didn't know whether Northerly was going to start or not. He rode Northerly to success in the Caulfield Cup and took the ride on Rain Gauge. He's into the stalls for Greg Childs, who would just love to win a Melbourne Cup. So the blanket's out in force here.
On Pugin. Pugin going up to his gate. Obviously, he's a horse, appreciates the barrier blanket as well.
Frankie Dettori, his 8th ride in a Melbourne Cup. He's been second before, distinctly secret.
He knows what's about to happen. He's not a horse that likes the barriers, obviously. He's getting a little upset.
Thong Classic, the foreground. Freemason, the background. Helene Vitality goes past. Stephen King, 33 years of age today. In 1991, he won on Let's Elope. The Omen, well, it was his birthday that day. The other Omen, that year he won the Derby on Star of the Realm. Saturday, he won the Derby again on Hellenist. Can he do the double, as he did 11 years ago?
Hellenist just taking his position there. Gerald Mossé, French rider, via Hong Kong to Australia.
There's the betting, $5.90 Media Puzzle, $6.90 for Vinnie Rowe, $7.50 Distinctly Secret, $9.50 for Pugin, and Beekeeper is at $9.90. And Rain Gauge, the first of the Australians, at $11.60, and then they get out to big odds.
Vinnie Rowe just took his spot. The huge plunge is now in the hands of the jockey and the starter.
Miss Melisse goes into the barrier. Jardine's Lookout, who was hurled back in the birdcage for such a long time, is about to come up. Paddy Payne, who won the Cox Plate on Northerly, about to come up, having his 7th ride in a Melbourne Cup. They're just about set. Let's join our caller, Wayne Wilson, for the 2002 Tooheys New Melbourne Cup.
Thank you, Bruce. What a sight as we look out from our broadcast position here. A massive crowd at Flemington under ideal weather conditions for the running of the Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. The great 2-miler, the greatest 2-miler on the planet. And we're close to a start. Pugin stands well. Rain Gauge. Sam Mason's in line. Now, Grey Song, he carries a gold cap, Grey Song. He's coming up towards his position. Beekeeper, the red cap. Hatharena has got a black cap on. A Hush just ascending over Flemington. A Hush that will erupt into a roar at any tick of the clock. Prize Gem moving around behind them. She won the Brisbane Cup earlier this year at 3,200 metres. She's ridden by a Queenslander, Michael Rod. She's in line. We're close now. The lights are on. Stand by. Stand by for the Melbourne Cup. Racing. An almighty roar from the crowd. Freemason, Miss Melissa going back. Requiem began nicely. County Tyrone was fast away. Dardia Poor began quickly. Thong Classic. Hatharana going forward with Sand Mason and Requiem on the outside. Beekeeper a little wide. They're linking up with the course proper. Sorting themselves out. Victory Smile just in front of Dardia Poor. Media Puzzle straight into a lovely trailing position. He is running third, just one off the rails. Cyclades is over on the inside. Sand Mason going up about 4 horses deep to take them on. Requiem is next, then Hatharana, County Tyrone. Pugin going to 6th on the outside. Frankie Dettori is jumping onto the heels of Hatharana. His stablemate is following forward. Next on the inside is Pentastic. Distinctly Secret, Mr. Prudent, followed by Thong Classic and Miss Melissa. Hales getting back in the field. Getting well back to Jardine's Lookout, then Rain Gauge, and Freemason drops to the rear. The big field thunders to the turn out of the straight in the Melbourne Cup. 2,200 metres left to go. Sand Mason takes up the running. Sand Mason leading by a length. Hatharana going to second. Frankie's caught a little wide on Pugin. He's still out 3 horses deep. He's going to third on the outside of Dardia Poor. 5th in the centre there is Requiem. Helene Vitality having a wide run. County Tyrone in the middle. Cyclades is next on the rails. Then Victory Smile. Vinnie Rose getting up into a nice trailing position. He is 2 off the fence, but he's getting cover there. Pentastic is next on the inside of Media Puzzle. Media Puzzle is right behind Vinnie. A length and a half then to Beekeeper, followed by Mr. Prudent on the inside. Distinctly Secret's out a little bit deep as well. Miss Melissa's a fair way back in the field. She's racing on the outside of Grey Song. Further back then came Hale, Rain Gauge, and Freemason is still at the rear. Out past the 1,400, and Sand Mason shows the way. Sand Mason taken on now by Hatharana. Hatharana surging to the front to lead by 3/4 of a length on Sand Mason. Pugin is now dropping into a beautiful trailing position. He's 2 lengths away in third spot, followed then by Helene Vitality getting a nice run, and Vinnie Rowe is right on the heels of Pugin. He's starting to follow forward behind him. Dahlia Poor is on the inside. Media Puzzle just seemed to lose his position a little bit. He's back behind Cyclades. Beekeeper coming to the outside. Victory Smile and Pentastic. Distinctly Secret has never been on the track. He's going wide, and so is Jardine's Lookout. They're approaching the home turn. 600 metres left to go in the Melbourne Cup. They're on the bend now. Hatharana's just in front. Vinnie Rose making a dash, and so is Media Puzzle. Here comes Damien on Media Puzzle. Vinnie Rowe and Media Puzzle. Beekeeper to the outside, putting in a great run. Distinctly Secret is next, followed then by Pentastic. Media Puzzle. Media Puzzle. Damien takes him to the lead with 200 metres to go, and he's shot away. Media Puzzle 3 lengths in front. This is the one that Damien's wanted. This is the one that he's riding for Jason, and Media Puzzle goes to the line to win the Melbourne Cup. Damien stands high on the irons, salutes the heavens. That's for Jason. It's Media Puzzle, the winner of the Melbourne Cup. Oh, a great go second and third. Beekeeper's there, Mr. Prudence there. Vinnie Rowe had his chance, then Pentastic, followed in by Distinctly Secret. The next one in was Freemason, Miss Melissa, County Tyrone. Prize Gem further back with Grey Song. Jardine's Lookout. Further back came Thong Classic, Rain Gauge, Hale, and Dahlia Poor, or a few of these are pulling up a mile back. Victory Smile, Sand Mason, Helene Vitality. Pugin pulled up quickly with Requiem, and Hatharana, one of the last over the line. What a Melbourne Cup victory to Media Puzzle and Damien Oliver. What a win.
142 runnings of the Cup. Has it been a better story, a more emotional one? See the breeches, Jason Oliver, Damien riding for his brother here. What a moment for Dermot Weld as well. He's done it again, Peter Donegan.
Dermot Weld, just asking about where Vinnie Rowe finished, but you know where Media Puzzle finished. Is it sweeter the second time around?
Yes, it is indeed. This was a wonderful day. I'm delighted for everybody concerned, for my staff who's done such a wonderful job with this horse, and this was very special.
You're normally so calm and cool and collected, Dermot. We've seen that many times, but a bit of a shake-up at the moment.
Yeah, there's times, you know, these are special moments in life. These things happen. I was so thrilled turning for home to see my two horses fighting out in Melbourne Cup. You know, they've come 12,000 miles to do this. And just watching the rerun, Vinnie Rowe for a 4-year-old has run a wonderful race. I'm delighted for Mike Watt and Jim Sheridan, who are my part owners in Vinnie Rowe, that he hasn't let us down for a big run on a track that was too firm for him. But he'll be back. But today was Media Puzzles Day.
Many of the people watching this in Europe would probably think, how could this horse win a Melbourne Cup? But his improvement since he's been here has been astronomical.
2 years ago, after he ran 4th in the English St. Leger, I said in the 4th enclosure to Mike Dillon of Ladbrokes that I'd win the Melbourne Cup with this horse. And in fact, he fractured his pelvis quite badly, stood in a box for 4.5 months, and we brought him back to today.
9 years ago, I congratulated you on internationalising the Melbourne Cup. I do it again. Dermot Weld, congratulations.
Thank you, Peter. My pleasure.
And a big one today, which meant a lot to you.
Yeah, mate.
I'll get you in a minute. I want you really up high on this one.
Yeah.
Okay? We're ready to go. Damien, this one meant a lot to you, didn't it, the Melbourne Cup?
Yeah, it did, Johnny. It's going to be hard to keep this together.
I know it is, mate, but the Australia and the world's with you.
Yeah, mate. Melbourne Cups don't mean a thing to me anymore. I'd give it back right now to have my brother back.
Yeah, mate, we can understand that, but this was for him, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
It really was, and you're a very close family, and today was something very, very special for you. It wasn't just a Melbourne Cup. It was everything about yourself and your family.
Well, yeah, the family's been through a hard time. All the family and friends have been so good. I mean, it's so tragic to lose someone in the family so young. And it just goes to show you should never take anything for granted. And, you know, always appreciate your loved ones.
Yeah, Damien, you know, over there, we were about a furlong away or 200 metres from over 100,000 people are just going to go crazy for you because they all rode, I think they all rode the horse with you today.
Yeah, the crowd's been great. I've been having a shocker. But they stuck with me, and this all credit with this horse, mate. He was just far too good today. I got there too early, but he was just too good.
Congratulations, Dame. Very deserving.
Damien Oliver, just the mixed emotions at the course. Through him right now, Jason and Damien's mum, Pat.
They're like family to me, that family, the Olivers. We had Jason as an apprentice, and he was only 15 years of age, and he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his late brother, Jason. And to have to go to the funeral tomorrow after celebrating a Melbourne Cup tonight, I just can't imagine a more emotional moment in sport in this country.
He just tapped his breeches a moment ago just to show everybody that Jason's name on the breeches there. It was a fabulous run. They won by 2 lengths with a long neck. One of the fastest cups in history, 3:16.9. And Ireland first and 4th for Dermot Weld. Second, Mr. Prudent, fabulous run. 3rd, Beekeeper, the Godolphin group. But it's Damien's day.
Sure is. Every jockey in that field knows what pressure he was under, knows what stress he was under emotionally, and they're all wishing him well, as they should.
Has there been a more emotional victory in the history of the great race?
Listen to that crowd.
And now the famous walk about to take place. Oh, well, there you go. Can happen to the great ones.
As he remounts and takes that long walk.
Scotty Singh came off Ethereal in the same spot last year. This horse is so fit, and for Damien, it's a time just to deep breath and soak it all in. And to think last week he had to make a decision, didn't he, Damien? Flew to Perth to be at the bedside of his brother. Would he ride in the Cup? Would he fulfil his engagement on Media Puzzle? He decided he would, with the blessing of his mum, Pat, and all his supporters. And here he is.
I'm just so proud of this guy. It's just the best.
Couple of champions together. There's Mark Weld, now the son of Dermot, with Damien. He's a genius, this trainer. He really is.
One of the great trainers in the world, Dermot Weldon. You cannot deny his ability to get a horse here from the other side of the country, improve it, and get it to win a Melbourne Cup. It's just unbelievable. No one else has been able to do it.
And George Hanlon second with Mr. Prudent, and Godolphin third.
Mr. Prudent, the old war horse.
Fantastic ran fifth with Vinnie Rowe in fourth place.
That's his manager, Neil Pinner, embracing him there. It's actually against the rules of racing to do that, but who would deny him?
There's Lee Friedman, who Damien won for in 1995 under Remus.
Certainly will.
He's sweet. He's waiting all right. And now the press will descend. Peter Donegan's in there with Damien, along with a number of the other press from right around the world. And there's the champ, Media Puzzle. What a racehorse he's turned out to be. His Geelong Cup win was fabulous. This was even better. Damien said, I got to the front too early. He chased Vinnie Rowe. He had them chasing him all the way up this long, famous run in the Melbourne Cup. Beekeeper was doing his best. Vinnie Rowe was trying his heart out, and Mr. Prudent was coming home hard to get second, as he did in the Sydney Cup this year after winning it the year before. But this is a mighty win. He's won by about the same margin that Vintage Crop did in 1993.
It was an absolute replica of his ride at Geelong. He rode him exactly the same way.
Here's Pete Donegan.
Damien, wonderful ride. Must be hard to crack a smile at the moment, though.
Yeah, it's hard to hold back the emotions, yeah, but we had a good run through the race. He probably got to the front much sooner than I wanted to, but he was just going so good. I just wanted to keep him out of trouble.
How did you stay focused all throughout the past few days?
It's been difficult, I must say. You know, it's been a tough time for the whole family, not only me. You know, the perspective can be lost sometimes. You know, it's my brother who lost his life, and although it's been difficult for the whole family, you know, I'd give this back right now to have him back with us.
Absolutely. We spoke about your dad 7 years ago when he got off the scales after winning on De Remus. Throughout the race, did you have any thoughts, or is there not time for that?
No, you can't allow yourself to think about that. You know, there's times through the day where you do think about it, but you have to concentrate on the job at hand. It's not fair to the people that have had faith in you to let your mind wander. But I'm really happy I could win this today, and I'm sure everyone, the whole family back in Perth, will be really happy.
You had 20 million grandstand jockeys out there with you today. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks. Ta.
Ollie, stay with us just for a moment, can you, Dave?
So Damien there with Peter Donegan. Dermot World, youngest vet ever at 21 years of age, came out to Australia from the Curragh Island. They love their thoroughbreds. He's a master trainer. His son is with him, and his foreman there, and the owner of the horse. And what a famous victory. They've got a statue of Vintage Crop at the Curragh Island. They're going to put another one up, I would think. And you reckon Vinnie Rowe will be back next year, the way Dermot spoke just after the race. But this is a stayer and a half, isn't he?
This is a horse that loves the firm ground.
They set it up, didn't they, the international horses? They went so hard. Sam Mason, the Australian trained, but then Hatharena, they really put it on. And look at Damien at the end, looking to the heavens. There's been few celebrations like that. Look at the space between him and the rest. Beekeeper running out under pressure. Vinnie Rowe, his lungs are bursting in third and fourth place. And old Mr. Prudent. 2 8-year-olds have won in 142 years, and today he's slugged his way to second for George Hanlon.
Bless him, I think I got the trifecta. but Damien Oliver there, well might he raise his hands to the heavens.
And there we have it, correct weight after the Tui's new Melbourne Cup, a race to savour, Media Puzzle beating Mr. Prudent and Beekeeper Hero.